Welcome to Power Lunch Live. This is Rhett Power. I am Rhett Power, your host. Speaking in the third person, whatever that was. I don't know what that was. Anyway, we're here, and we do this program every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a lot of Fridays. We got a show tomorrow. In fact, we do it on LinkedIn's new live platform, but we also do it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I'm missing something. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, and LinkedIn. And I can't speak today. Sorry about that. But the program, we have best-selling authors, we have CEOs, we have people who are doing amazing work in the world. And the point of that is so that we can learn from them, learn what helps them be successful. So maybe we get a little bit better at what we do. Now, the fun part about the show is that it's interactive. The way that happens is if you ask questions and we try to get you the answers to those questions. So have some fun. Get your fingers typing on the keyboard. Send us a few questions during the program so that we can get to it. And that means there's less things I have less questions I have to ask. If you love the program or like it, give it a like or share so that others in your network can benefit from it. And we can grow our audience as well. Now, today, we're going to have some fun. We're going to learn a lot today. I've got Angelo Poli. He's 10 years ago, Angelo, this is fascinating, was walking with a cane. And I want to ask him about that, what that was about. Today, he's an internationally recognized trainer. He's known for working with elite athletes like Aaron Rodgers. He's been featured in Men's Health, the Wall Street Journal, the Huffington Post for his work in the field of neuromuscular re-education and nutritional sciences. He's the founder of MetPro. He's author of Metabolic Profiling and is a celebrated body transformation expert. Angelo, welcome.
Rhett, thank you so much. I've been looking forward to being here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, what's the story, man? How did MetLife come to be, and how did all the work that you've created and how did that happen? Because that's a success story. That's a business success story, aside from all the great work you're doing, helping people transform their bodies.
Well, MetPro came to be as kind of a conglomeration, a combination of all those things you alluded to. When I was younger, I had a pretty severe injury. Didn't want to leave the health and fitness world. So I focused on coaching and teaching, and I did seminars. And the more audiences I spoke with, and as my audiences grew in size, I found that a better evaluation system was needed to quickly identify, here's where you're at, based on your stated goals, here are going to be the absolutely most productive action steps to get there. And that's where MetPro came to be. It was originally just some notes scribbled on the back of a pad of paper that I would use, and that evolved into a whole evaluation system, and then now a coaching system and a concierge coaching company. And MetPro is short for Metabolic Profiling. And I have a blast. I get to talk to you, Rhett.
Well, yeah, that's the end all be all right there, right?
It is.
What is metabolic profiling?
So it is a reference to the piece of the equation. So we do transformations, and some of them are exactly what you would think. Folks just looking to improve health, improve energy, and productivity. But we get to do a little bit of the Hollywood pizzazz as well. Working with very unique individuals, entertainers, getting ready for their roles. I've worked with a number of folks that were on popular TV weight loss programs who are now rebuilding their metabolism, reality TV, athletics, you name it. Usually when somebody calls us up, they have a very defined, here's my objective. I want to achieve this. Lots of entrepreneurs, lots of travelers. You'd be amazed how many people call me up and say, Angelo, I've heard that I need to do this, or I know I should do that with my exercise or my eating, but I'm on the road 5 days a week. Help me out. That's what our team specializes in. So at the core of what we do, we basically help answer the question, what should you eat? How should you train? And I'll give you a clue to start this off. There are thousands of gurus out there. Type into Google weight loss, right?
Oh,
Type
God.
into Google
That's an abyss right there.
an abyss. Build muscle. I mean, it's just, there are a million different thoughts, strategies, and approaches. And here's the problem. You ready for it?
Yeah, give it to me.
They all work. You weren't expecting that, right? They all work.
Wow. Okay.
For someone. They all work for someone. That's why there's a blog or a page and raving fans following every single approach under the sun. Nutritionally, it used to be the diet of the year, then it was a diet of the month. Now it's a diet of the hour, right? But I mean, we have these broad categories. There's plant-based, there's ketogenic, there's paleo, there's cyclical fasting, there's sports nutrition, there's you name it. There's everything under the sun. And all of them have elements of science to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that science is optimized for you or is going to be your greatest leverage point. So that's why having a strategist, someone who specializes in these transformations, really helps. It's not that I have thought of some secret sauce, so there's some magic bullet or some special pill that doesn't exist, folks. Right. It's going to be hard work, but the right strategy. And let's get this out of the way. It's so easy to fall into the mindset where, anyone can lose weight or anyone can get in shape, but if they just want it enough, they're not willing to go through the pain or discomfort or sacrifice. That is largely, and this is my world outlook now, that's largely an untrue statement. I've had the privilege of dieting 20,000 people in my career. I've been at this for over 2 decades, and that is out there. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that just don't want to put in the work, but more often than not, it's a matter of I'm willing to put in the work, but I have to see some return on my investment. I have to see some progress to keep putting in the work. And that's where most people go sideways. They might be seeing a tiny bit of progress, but because of a lack of an ideal strategy suited to them, they become discouraged. And again, that's where MetPro comes in, and we have a lot of fun helping people.
Well, I mean, a lot of those diets that you talked about, I mean, they have more people who failed on them than been successful on them. I mean, that's so what you're saying, I mean, it makes sense to me because we're all different, right? We all have a different body type. And I can't just go say, okay, I'm just going to go do the keto diet and that necessarily be what I actually need, right?
And here's why. That is. I focus on metabolism in most of my education, my writing and my education, not because it's more important than exercise, it's more important than food sourcing, none of those things. I focus on it because it's more misunderstood. Most people get it. I need to eat healthy foods to be a healthy person. I need to exercise regularly, to be healthy. We get that.
Pattern there, right?
Where we get stymied is, what the heck? Me and my friend both went on the same diet. He lost 30 pounds. I lost 3. Where's the justice in that? It's when it comes to metabolic rate, your metabolism, there's no fair. There's no fair. And we're always looking over our shoulder. We're looking at our neighbor, our friend, and hey, you look pretty good. What are you doing? Really, there is no bearing on whether or not their strategy is going to be productive for you. And I can back that up. Go ahead.
It's not. Is it about activity to get the metabolism going, or what's the key to unlocking that?
Activity is absolutely on the list. You might be surprised to find out where it is on the list, though. So a lot of people will realize that not only is everyone's body different, but your body is different than it was even a few months ago, and most certainly different than it was a few years ago, which is why, and a lot of people can relate to this. I did a diet in the past. I went on a plan and I had a good result. Now I've tried it for the second or third time, and my results are not anything like what I experienced the first time. That's absolute proof that your body acclimates, your metabolism changes over time, and it all has to do with leverage points. So at MetPro, our coaches are all experts at looking at 5 different things. And the item on the list is number 4. So I won't skip ahead, but item on the list number 4 is how to identify what strategy is going to be right for you. But is it all right if I kind of bullet those 5 and give you a little explanation on them?
No, please do. I want it very much.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So the first thing that we look at is your body type and your goal, or another way of saying that for those who maybe aren't familiar with somotypes, body types, ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph, is your genetics and your goal. A good goal setting session is not about what you want to achieve. It's about what you're willing to not work on right now. Make a secondary focus. And here's why.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be presumptuous. Everybody does want to achieve something different. But in general, if I take a sampling of the last 1,000 people who reached out to me, you want to lean up, you want to perform better, you want more energy, and you want to feel great. So that kind of sums it up. Now, with that, I can make a few assumptions. Also, everyone's different, but based on the last few thousand people I've worked with, I can assume that you're stressed out, you're busy, you're well-intentioned, but your biggest challenge is time management and fitting in all the things you need to do. Generally speaking, you already know what you need to do, and my job is to help you execute on them efficiently in a way that's quicker, time management, quicker, so that way you can actually continue to keep executing on them. And then in a subset of cases, you are doing everything right. You got your checklist, you've checked all the boxes, but your metabolism is just broken. And you need a strategy to recover that. So you fall into one of those 2 boxes. Based on that, we're going to look at where you're at. We're going to look at what your goals are. And I'm going to give you a whole list of things that you no longer have time to focus on. It's not about never getting to them. It's about we need to see progress, which means instead of spreading out our pressure and pushing all along the wall, we're going to get razor sharp and put all of our pressure in one place. That way we bust through. Once we're there, then we'll move on to the next and the next and the next. So a lot of people will sit down with me and they'll give me their list of goals. And usually on this list, and again, I work with athletes, it could be anything, but 86% of people who call me on that list is weight loss. On that list is also strength, performance, athletics. And so what it boils down to is I'm going to ask you, of these items, which is your priority? Because if you want to achieve all of them, but really energy and hitting a PR in your mile run or your squat or deadlift, or you want to do a half marathon or run a full marathon, or you're an athlete looking at this metrics, if that's your priority, the workout routine and the nutrition, and I'm really emphasizing nutrition, is going to look very different than if you call us up, talk to a MetPro specialist and say, look, I got this event coming up in 10 weeks. I'm going to be on camera, or it's going to be a special event. I need to look great in this outfit, or I need to drop 20 pounds, or I need XYZ. The program I'm going to give you is going to look different. It's not everybody does this, that's the answer to all. No, it's really an individual approach. So goal setting is critical in determining where we are going to start. Then we have to get to know each other. So you ready, Rhett?
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. I promised we'd have fun, right? So the first thing I have to know is you. So most people start telling me, oh, I'm this weight, I'm this age, and I've tried this diet in the past, and here's what I want to achieve. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Here's what I want to know. Are you married? Do you have kids? What are your work hours? How often do you travel? Do you take most of your meals socially? or by yourself or with your family? Do you take most of your meals on the go or at a restaurant? These are all the things I need to know. Otherwise, I can have the most brilliant, mathematically complete strategy in the world. It's not going to help you at all.
Nope.
It's not going to help you at all. I'll tell you kind of a comical story. I'm taking a left turn here a little, but a lot of experts will ask me why, Angelo, you really are a big believer in snacks, and here's the studies and here's this, and there's studies on this side and there's studies on that side. Tell me, what studies do you point to and what mathematical equation, what's the science behind why you love snacks? And I just laugh and I say, I'll tell you why I love snacks. Because you don't eat them socially. So I can assign you to eat a very specific thing. You can pull it out of your drawer at 2:30 and you're not being pressured to eat with Johnny. You don't have to take it with the family, the boss. That's why I like snacks. It's not some big magical mathematical equation. It's that I can control it. That's why I like it. So some of this is just in the trenches, common sense stuff that we've have to learn, because my victories are my clients' victories. My wins are your wins. So in order for me to win, I have to get you to that goal. So it has forced us to be creative, outside the box, innovative, and here's what actually matters. And then when you boil it down, it's kind of surprising to look at the things that are the most relevant. It's not that the big ones that everyone knows about, got to sleep, recovery, good food, exercise, those are all on the list, but there are some little ones that make a huge difference. So
like what?
Food prep.
Okay.
Everybody knows. So anybody that's in the fitness industry, that's a term that they know already. They know what that means. People in the physique industry, bodybuilders, physique competitors, et cetera, they're carrying around their tote with all of their. Did you know there's a right way and a wrong way to food prep? And did you know there are some meals that are exponentially more critical to food prep?
No.
The reason that is time management. What I'm looking for is the most leverage for the least work. And to me, the most important meal of your day is mid-afternoon snack.
Okay.
And I'm going to circle back why. Cliffhanger. I'm going to come back to that.
I'm going
to tell you why mid-afternoon snack to me is the most important meal of the day.
Okay.
So when we're talking with people, the next thing, and this is item 3 on that 5 bullet list. Item 3 is, are you strategic or metabolic? Huge. Have to know that. And let me put that into layman's terms and basic lingo. Here's what that means. Person A, when they eat clean and exercise regularly, loses weight, gets in shape, has a beautiful physique, is healthy. Person B, even though they're eating clean and exercising regularly, they're at a plateau. Their metabolism is just stubborn and they can't budge.
Hello, that's me.
Okay, we're gonna address that. We'll talk about some strategies to address that. We have to define, and by the way, you might fall into either category at different times in your life or even seasons. But we have to figure out which one of these 2 buckets you're in, because our approach and our strategy is going to be completely different based on which bucket you're in. If you're what we call a strategic, my job is all about maximizing the hours in your day, time management, and the items that you're doing so that way you can repeat them. If you're a column B person, which Rhett, it sounds like you may be, it means that I have to recondition your metabolism. Instead of letting it run the show, I need to teach it how it's supposed to run and then shock it. And we'll explain how we do that.
Okay.
So item 4 on the list is baseline testing. And so I told you I'd circle back to how we identify what strategy is and isn't right for each individual person. My whole claim to fame, the foundation of everything I teach is all about you have to baseline test. Otherwise, there's no science, there's no math. My pet peeve in the industry is, and there's a lot of well-intentioning people out there, is they find something they think is great. They jot it down, eat this, do that for exercise. They slide it across the table and say, here, do this. This is good for you, without ever knowing you. your genetics, your metabolism, your history of where your body's at, it is just never going to be optimal.
Right.
Baseline testing is a very simple principle, which we have polished down to a shiny process, but it's a very simple principle. Rhett, you don't seem like a shy guy. Height and age? What's your height and age?
I claim to be 5'9". I'm probably 5'8.5".
Hey, I do the same thing. I'm 5'8.5". It's 5'9".
50. Yes, 50 years old.
Perfect. I have a meal plan that I have had literally thousands of others, men with your basic body type and your age, follow. The beauty is that because of that, I have data. Non-emotional, non-partial, just absolute real data. So I'm going to give you a meal plan. The meal plan's going to be a bummer for a couple days because it's going to be boring. And the outstanding feature of it is it's static. In other words, it's not all over the board. You eat this for breakfast, you eat this for lunch, you eat this for snacks. Go. Don't deviate. Eat exactly this. And oh, by the way, if you're not in the habit of exercise, don't start right now. I'm trying to baseline test your metabolism. I got guys that come back like, Angelo, I went on your meal plan. I did the baseline test. And I also started running 5 miles a day. And I lost 5 pounds. I'm like, hey, Johnny, that's great. Except for now we have to redo the baseline test because I don't know if it's the running or the meal plan. You see where I'm going with this?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to put you on a baseline meal plan.
Okay.
It's going to last about 3 days. Now, I know right now, medical gurus, fitness gurus are going, what is he thinking? It takes more than 3 days. And you're right. It does take more than 3 days. But we've been doing this for a minute. And we have so many data points now that within 72 hours, we can extract enough data through the use of some technology. We have some technology that aids us. So we're able to extract a lot of relevant data points during the baseline testing process to, with about 90% accuracy, make our first adjustment. And by the way, for those 10% that were off, we quickly readjust because we're constantly reevaluating. So in as little as 3 days, I'm going to have a heading and I'm going to be able to come back to you and say, Rhett, here's exactly what you ate. You ate this many calories a day, this macronutrient breakdown, this glycemic load, this many meals, this timing, and your activity level was here. You lost 2 pounds, or you gained 2 pounds, or you stayed the exact same weight. And then I'm going to say, based on, 2,876 men that have done the exact same protocol, compared to them, your metabolism is average. Or compared to them, your metabolism sucks. And I'm going to level with you. There's no sense in, I can't give you good news any more than I can control the color of your eyes. Right. What I can do is I can come back and say, Rhett, here's the data, not here's what I think will happen. Here's what just happened. So this isn't a debate. This is just, this happened. A fact. Based on that, here's our next steps and what I think we should do moving forward with your nutrition, with your exercise, and we can build a complete strategy around that. That's what baseline testing is all about. That's the beauty of baseline testing. If you can give me 3 days of consistency, go on vacation, take a couple days off work, plan it for a week, just give me 3 days.
Okay.
I can give you phenomenal insights into where your metabolism is and what approach may work next.
Does food, what jump starts metabolism?
Okay. So I promised you that, and I promised you the afternoon snack gig. So what I'm going to do is determine where your metabolic rate is. Now, I'm going to fast forward and assume we go through baseline testing. We learn Rhett's got a slow metabolism. Okay. If that's the case, I'm going to quickly adjust and figure out what threshold does trigger weight loss. It would have to be very extreme for me not to be able to produce any weight loss from you, assuming that was your goal, with some diet manipulation. Based on the threshold that triggers it, I'm going to be able to mathematically calculate out approximately how much highway we have in front of us without turning into a gimmick. That's the problem. People go, oh, well, that didn't work here. Just eat, split a cranberry and 2 rice cakes, and then you'll lose weight. Well, yeah, of course you're going to lose weight. No, I mean, how much highway of rational human being real eating can we produce that will still elicit weight loss?
Right.
And if I find that, I can only get 5-6 pounds of weight loss out of you, the problem is we have about 30 or 40 we want to drop. Not saying you have that. I'm just using an example for someone. Right.
That sounds like I could do that.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, here's the game plan. I'm going to go ahead and take 5 pounds off of you, but then I'm going to stop the diet down process, and I'm going to recondition your metabolism. This process is not easy. It takes some work, but it will absolutely produce results. So what I'm going to do, we're monitoring you. We know exactly what you're taking in. We're seeing when you deviate from the plan and you stop at grandma's and have the cherry pie. We're going to take that all in consideration. Life happens.
Yeah, I'm right.
But what I'm going to essentially do is I'm going to say, all right, Rhett, you're eating this many calories, this many grams of carbs, proteins, fats, this many meals. I'm going to increase that marginally, just a little bit tomorrow. And wait until your body responds by actually gaining a pound. You say, what? I just lost 5 pounds. Like, no, I'm going to slowly increase. So you know what's going to happen the first day we make that increase? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. I'm going to give you a bump. Your body's going to go, okay, no big deal. So I'm going to do that in consecutive days or consecutive time periods, maybe every couple days, every third day. I'm going to increase your food volume, specifically your carbohydrates at that point, because spoiler alert, by the time you're on the lowest rung, we're probably also using carbohydrate control as one of the tools we're employing. So I'm going to start adding calories and carbohydrates back in gradually until Rhett gains a pound.
Okay.
Now, as soon as you gain a pound, I'm going to say, good, you did what I told you. You slowly increased your intake. Now, go lose that pound, but here's the catch. You can't eat a bite less of food. Now, I'm going to send you in to do the extra cardio, to do a little bit extra exercise. We're going to work on the food windows, make sure you're not eating late at night. All the little tricks that we can apply without reducing total calories, total carbohydrates, changing your macronutrients. And if I said, Rhett, I need you to go and get on that treadmill until you lose 40 pounds, you would laugh at me, because unless you have 8 hours a day to dedicate to it, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if I say, see that treadmill over there, or see that bike over there, 1 pound. I can do it. Okay. You're going to come back to me the next day. Here we go. Yeah, baby. I did it. I did that extra cardio session, Angelo. I lost that pound you asked me to, and I'm going to say, attaboy. Now, go gain that pound back, and I'm going to feed you more. And I'm going to repeat that process possibly 5 or 6 times. It's not as bad as, it'll probably take 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to end up 1 to 2 pounds heavier than at our lowest weight, eating 2 to 3 times the amount of carbs, and probably 50% to 100% more calories. That's how we reboot your metabolism. Now your body's reacclimated to that. Then I'm going to shock your system. We're going to go for round 2. Now I have leverage. So if I decide caloric restriction is the way to go, we'll go down that path. If we decide that calorie control is the way to, carbohydrate control is the way to go, I might pull out quite a bit of your carbohydrates all in one shot, shock your system, get you back on the weight loss path. And we go, okay, now we're going to lose 15, 20 pounds. Then we're going to pause again and repeat, because we're going to prioritize the longevity, sustainability. We're going to prioritize your metabolism. I can't tell you how many people I've worked. They were on The Biggest Loser. They were on other popular TV programs. Their metabolism is now just, it's shot. And it's not just, it's lots of people experience this because of chronic dieting. The problem is you can starve yourself and exercise and starve yourself. That's not how weight loss should happen. You have to do it in phases. If somebody has 100 pounds to lose, we got to take off 20 to 30, pause, restock, replenish, revitalize your metabolism, then go another 20 or 30 and rinse and repeat. Right. Makes for horribly boring TV, right? So nobody does that. And where are we educated?
It's healthy though. It sounds a lot more healthy than this sort of crash diet that whether you're starving yourself or whatever it is you're doing, it just doesn't, you don't feel, I don't think you feel good.
I've tried everything under the sun. It just doesn't work. You have to do it strategically. It has to, and it's true. It's cliche. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. That is absolutely true. But there's a strategic way, a scientific way to force that issue, to make it a lifestyle. And spoiler alert, the strategy is to get results without starving yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. There will be times I'm going to say, Rhett, you're at a plateau. I'm going to have you do something very specific for 48 hours. We're going to bust you through. That's fine. But the whole, well, I'm only going to eat one meal a day for the next 6 months, or I'm going to eat 0 carbs for the rest of my life, or I'm only going to, eat liquids for my, stop it. Stop it.
I was a college wrestler, so I know that drill.
Yep.
I know that drill.
So that's where the baseline testing comes in, and then the final I won't spend a lot of time with. That's basically there's the psychological element. So our coaches are experts. It's been interesting because I've been coaching coaches and training coaches and trainers for almost 2 decades now, and there's a massive psychological component, which of course there's experts in the field way smarter than I am that talk on this, but some people thrive when there's a strong support system. Everyone thrives with accountability, but some people really say that.
That's what this sounds like, a lot like. It's really having that accountability partner that's sort of sitting on your shoulder and saying,
"That's it.
Hey, come on, let's go."
You nailed it. Some people, the support system is huge. Some people are kind of learners. They're really interested in the why, and they want an educator, kind of an instructor. They'll do anything. They'll scale walls. They'll climb mountains as long as you can teach them convincingly the why behind it, the science behind it. And then other people just don't care about either of those things. Really, what matters the most to them is a challenge. They need to be invited to challenge themselves to be the best they can be. And so those are broad strokes, but we kind of identify which flavor you are. And all 3 of those describe everyone at different times in their life, but which flavor you lean into the most. And we kind of walk down that path together. One client, I might say, hey, I'm going to ring you tomorrow and I'm going to help you. We're going to talk about what we're going to have for lunch. Another client, I may say, hey, I want to explain why I've asked you to have this for lunch. And the third client, I'm going to say, hey, tomorrow, here's what I'm eating for lunch. See if you can do better. So, it's just
what buttons to push, right?
It's the same lunch. I promise. I'm not changing the science. Same lunch, same science, different approach. But
different ways to motivate people, right? And we all we all learn that when we're in leadership. When we what is you've talked about sort of switch gears a little bit. You've talked about I was watching that TED talk that you did, and I really wanted to ask you about sort of this war between our lifestyle and physiology. And you talked a lot about how, this sitting at the desk, which we all do now, and on our devices and on, and so what do you mean by that? What is that? How is that affecting our health? How is that affecting our bodies? I guess that's the question.
Well, it's not good. So from the perspective of how that would translate to like one of a MetPro coach working with you. So I talk all about the food and how we're going to make small adjustments to your diet and we're going to walk step by step. And I hardly even bring up exercise. It's not that isn't a massive component. We're going to have a game plan. You're going to know exactly what you're doing. You're going to have the exact workouts selected that have been developed for you. We're going to work with you on all of that stuff. Again, coming back to what I mentioned earlier, it's not that exercise is less important. It's just that it's less misunderstood. It's not like people like exercise. Right. I hadn't thought of that. So the issue is that in industrialized countries in 2020 with technology, we spend, and you know, in my TED talk, my TEDx talk, I spewed a lot of stats on this, and this was even going back a number of years. The average, I think, late teenager spends like 7 to 8 hours a day in front of a computer or mobile
That was
device.
astonishing.
Yeah, it's and that was 5-6 years ago, and that didn't count TV time. So those stats have gotten exponentially worse. So without getting into a whole physiology lesson, when I start to assign you an exercise program, I am starting with the assumption that you have a lopsided body. You have postural deviations, you are imbalanced, and I'm going to assign you exercise from that starting point. Because if you live in the US, if you live in any industrialized country, you're anywhere, you have postural deviations. I consulted for a number of larger companies. One, I did not too long ago, a Walmart DC center, where we actually went in and evaluated just to help with some ergonomic stuff. And similar to every place I've ever evaluated, 96% of the population had externally rotated femurs, feet, forward head and shoulders. Why? That's the lifestyle we live. So at MetPro, the workout programs that have been put together are always taking that into consideration. That said, fewer people call me and say, "Hey, Angelo, help me get my my shoulders back." They call me up and they say, "Hey, Angelo,
I feel awful."
Well, we get all ends of the spectrum. We love it all. I'll tell you, I had a gal that I worked with. She was fabulous. She was going on one of those reality TV shows where she was going to be stranded, may or may not have been without shelter and clothing on an island for so many days. And so she came to me and she said, "I'm doing this reality TV show. I need you to slow my metabolism down. I'm going to die out there. I can't even go 3 hours without getting a headache if I don't eat. I get hangry." So nothing you can call and ask me for is going to surprise me. We actually reverse dieted her. We had her eat less and less frequently, had her increase the amount of hours, conditioned her to eating bigger meals less often. We actually purposefully slowed her metabolism. It was a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
You know, I have, you know, someone that called me and said, "Hey, you know, I'm going to be this many years old on this date. I want to be able to do that many pull-ups or that many push-ups." People have all kinds of goals. I get grandparents that are like, "Look, I want to be able to keep up with the kids." And in order to do that, but you know what I get probably the most? I get executives, I get entrepreneurs, I get successful, hardworking, type A driven personalities that are like, "Look, I have this great career. I have this great life, family," whatever the case is. Unfortunately, I've not made my health a priority. I should have started making it a priority a long time ago, but I'm going to start making it a priority now. Don't wait for that point. Let's go. Let's start. Do 6 months. Work with us for 6 months. It'll change your life. If you're 40 years old, you're an entrepreneur, you're an executive, invest 6 months of your life into an education. Because people ask all the time, they say, "Well, I know how I should be eating good. I know I should be exercising. I know I should be time management, or I know I should food prep." And I promise I'm going to circle back around to that tip.
Yeah.
But you have to learn the skill of how to do it efficiently. You don't just wake up and automatically know it. I mean, I hope not. Me and my team of professionals, we have dedicated our lives to this nuance. It is an art. You don't just wake up one day and say, "I think I'll be a lawyer." Okay, I'm a lawyer. I think I'm going to be an accountant. Okay, I'm an accountant. This takes practice. It takes practice. I'm going to take somebody to teach you, and that's what we're trying to do.
What does it take? Like, so walk me through the process a little bit. What does it take to get started? What does it look like? What's the time commitment? What's the Because I imagine up front it's a little harder to get used to, and you have to put a lot more thought and energy and time into it to get into the habit. Or am I just way off base? Because to me it's like if it's hard to get started, right, then you don't do it.
Yeah,
right?
but you're gonna do it, Rhett. You know why?
I'm going to do it. Because you just put me on the spot to do it, and I'm going to rise to the challenge.
Yeah, baby. That and
Um,
see, I like to win. We like to win. We're competitive. And so, we don't work with 10 million people. This isn't call centers across the US. This isn't some online, download this and then that's it. Here's your program for this. You're going to work with an expert who's going to,
right.
Put their name to it.
Okay.
Yes, the first 72 hours, the baseline testing period is the most intensive. It's 3 days. You can do it. You can give me, if you can give me 3 good days, I mean, we can do some awesome stuff. So
Looking forward to it.
I think this is where, if I'm picking up your cues, I get to put in our invite for your audience. So
Yes.
if that's all right. So I want to make sure I read this right. If you go to metpro.co/power lunch, metpro.co/power lunch.
We'll put a link on
Thank
on
you.
the chart.
Thank you. Because everybody gets it wrong and they go to com. It's .co/power lunch, metpro.co. You're going to get to talk to one of our experts. There's no charge associated with it. Just ask them. And they're going to actually get to know you. So the process is if you tell them about your struggles and really open up, because they're going to need to know. Yeah, that's it. Just say, here's my struggles. Here's my lifestyle. Here's been my experience in the past. A lot of people say, well, I know that this strategy was worked for me before. I've cut carbs and I've got this result, or I've done this and I've got that result. Well, tell us all about those things. Obviously, that strategy has not gotten you to the point where you're happy with your body now. So it's an indication that while there may have been nothing wrong with your previous strategies, it's time to challenge your body in a new way and refresh your strategy. That's what we're going to help you with. Then if you just say, hey, yes, this is for me, I'm at least willing to do it for the education, to transform my physique, and you hop on board for a short period of time. It doesn't have to be a year or 6 months. It can be a much shorter interval of time if that's what you're comfortable with. But hop on board with us for at least an interval of time. You're going to talk to one of our dietitians. They're going to take you through the health checklist, make sure there's nothing that either of us overlooked. And then we're going to put you on a baseline meal plan. A coach is going to monitor you through that and then get on the phone and have your first real, and I mean real, strategy session. Okay, here's where you're at. Here's how your body's responded. I'm making this change to your program. Here's exactly what I want to see. I'm just going to say your goal is weight loss because 85% of our clients are. I want you to lose X amount of weight by this day next week. If you haven't, you're to call me at this time. If you have, you're to call me at this time. And here's exactly what we're going to change next. By the way, next week we'll be talking about exercise. We're going to have your baseline testing protocol and your starting strategy for that. Let us do the thinking. We'll take care of it. We've done it a couple times and we love it. We love it. So, okay. This disruptive strategies, because I promised you.
Yes.
Afternoon snack. You know why the afternoon snack is the most important meal of your day?
What's that?
It is the single easiest disruptive strategy you can implement in ways you probably haven't even thought about.
Okay.
Rhett, now I'm putting you on the spot, on the air. Can you eat an afternoon next week? Can you eat an afternoon snack every day for me? Simple afternoon snack.
See, here's the thing. I eat one anyway.
Beautiful. Pardon me as I.
It's coming up right after this.
So, the reason I love afternoon snacks is because I want you to prepare it in the morning when you're making breakfast. Okay. Did you see what I did there?
I did.
So now I'm getting a 2-for-1, right? Because you have to have breakfast because that's when so you're already making your breakfast. You're in the kitchen making your breakfast. You just reach up on the counter, grab that apple, grab that bag of almonds. Boom, you're ready to go. You have your little sack with your snack in the afternoon.
There you
You've
go.
done multiple things. So now I know you're getting breakfast because that's when you prepared the afternoon snack. Because you had breakfast, guess what? You're actually going to eat lunch. You know how I know that? Because I know what happens to your body metabolically when you eat breakfast. Your metabolic rate actually ticks up. So you're going to be hungry for lunch, which is not a bad thing. That's okay. So you're going to eat lunch. But when you order lunch, you're going to already have eaten a healthy breakfast. You're not going to want to ruin that good mojo you already have going.
Right.
Also, you've made a promise to me. You told me you're going to eat that apple and almonds or whatever the snack is that we land on. So you're not going to gorge yourself at lunch. You're just going to eat a reasonable lunch. So now I'm at 3 boxes checked here. Then you're going to have that afternoon snack, which is going to keep your blood sugar stable. So when you get to dinner, you're going to be able to either go out to dinner, you're going to eat at home, or you're going to do whatever you typically do with dinner, but you're going to do it with self-control and with the absence of raging blood sugar, with the raging blood sugar monster that isn't telling you, no, you have to eat something and it needs to be greasy and you need to eat it now. That's what happens when you haven't eaten anything since 11:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
So now we have 4 boxes checked. So now we've had breakfast. We've had a reasonable lunch. You had the snack that I picked, which is great because I have control over that one meal because you don't eat it socially. Then you ate a better dinner more frequently. I'm a realist. I've done this a couple times. Sometimes you're still going to go for the wrong choice, but more often than you used to, you're going to make a good choice at dinner. And then here's the big win. At night before bed, that's when you have problems, huh? That's when most people, maybe you personally don't, but 80% of people tell me I get snacky, I want something sweet, or whatever the case is at night. That can be traced back to your midday routine. It's when you go hours during the day with either without eating or with poor foods that don't keep your blood sugar stable. It's not a guarantee. There's exceptions to the rule, but more likely you'll experience cravings at night. So now we've checked 6 boxes with 1 behavior, disruptive behaviors. I'll give you another tip related to it. You want to know how I rate foods? Bet this never even popped up on your rating scale. Calories, macronutrients, all of that. That's nice. You know what I'm interested in? Portability.
Okay.
Portability and how perishable it is.
Okay.
Let me tell you, cottage cheese and blueberries does not keep in your glove box. Not so well. Don't recommend it. There are a lot of healthy options that are not advantageous. So I want a unique combination of natural and clean foods, but low perishable. Simple ideas. There are a number of fruits that will keep, but things like raisins, nuts, any nuts are great, jerky, rice cakes, almonds and almond butter packets, anything that's simple that you can grab that isn't going to spoil in 72 hours is a great option because you can literally keep it in. I keep a snack pack in the trunk of my car. Now, be careful because that same principle has been discovered by the companies that, they're trying to raise profits by making food bars that are convenient, but they also know that most people aren't educated about the nuances of their ingredients. So they say that it's a healthy snack, and maybe it is healthy, but there's lots of sugars in it, or there's lots of ingredients that wouldn't make it ideal for weight loss if that's your goal. So be careful of that. Not that all of them are that way, but try and find something. Just do your research. Come up with a good afternoon snack.
I've never been a big fan of the bars. For some reason, I just don't really like them very much. What does it come down to also sort of the traditional things that we think? So I know, okay, cutting out sugar would probably have all kinds of healthy benefits, right? Cutting out potatoes and bread and carbs, probably smart to do, but those are really, they taste really good typically. Is it kind of what I'm thinking it's going to be that you sort of manage really some of the things that you shouldn't be eating anyway?
Not exactly what you're thinking. And
Okay.
I want to define that. So yes, sugar's bad. We all know that. But when it comes down to like all carbs are bad, things like that, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
Ask me exactly what you need to eat to lose weight. Ask me, Rhett.
No, I don't. I don't know. I
No.
think I eat fairly healthy.
I'm
Okay.
there's a
Do I need to cut
punchline
out
here.
sugar?
There's
Do
a
I need to cut out
punchline
sugar?
here.
Do I need to cut out sugar?
I don't know what you need to eat to lose weight,
Ah,
but
you're gonna
your
find out.
your baseline testing will tell me.
Okay.
So the reason that's critical is because I am going to have you remove the smallest amount of carbs, breads, all of those things that you just listed, that will trigger weight loss. Not the most, because it's not if a little is good, a lot is better. If I can get you to drop, I'm just using an example. If I can get you to drop weight by just taking those carbs or just taking something out of maybe one of the meals a day, that's where we're going to start. Why? Because now I still have all these other cards in my hand to play. When your metabolism does exactly what I promise it will do, because it's designed that way,
Right.
you will plateau. Doesn't matter what strategy we start with, your metabolism's job is to acclimate to it. You will plateau. If I've taken everything out in one shot, I've got no card left to play. Now we have to go through that up adjust process where I trick your metabolism into speeding up and you got to do more exercise and it's a few weeks. Whereas if I can get you to lose 3, 4, 5 pounds with minimal restriction, then when you hit that hard wall, now I still have all these options to bust you through and get another 3 or 4, another 3 or 4. That's
Right.
how I get the most weight off and the most weight off permanently versus a smaller amount of weight quicker that doesn't stay gone.
Right. No, that makes complete sense.
Cool.
Is this something? Just we do have to wrap it up.
Yep.
Is this something that people can follow remotely? So they talk to the trainer, they do all this. Would that be something that's done remotely through an app or through technology, and then
it's all remote? Yeah.
Some of the workout stuff could. I mean, let's say they work or live in a city that where you're not located.
Yep.
Right. They can go to their personal trainer. They can go to their trainer in their gym, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Is that how it works?
Yes. Okay. That's exactly. So we're based in Northern California. We have clients in 6 different countries. I would say we're split, half of our clients East Coast, half our clients West Coast, and then all over the place. So you'll be about 30%, 40% of our clients also have trainers and gyms and all that sort of thing. So if you have that, more power to you. That's even going to make this easier. If you don't, we have a whole section of workouts that we're going to assign you that you can do at home. If you have limited equipment, if you're traveling on the road, we're going to tell you what to do. If you're in a hotel room gym, if you have access to 0 equipment and only have a short period of time, we're going to tell you exactly what workouts we want you to select from. If you have a full gym and you're a beast, we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to show you some new stuff. And if you're doing some great stuff right now or you're involved in sports-specific training and training that's working, we're not going to change that. That's working. Keep going. We're just going to add to it.
What's the age? So if you wanted to get, because I'm been thinking a lot lately about young people's health, teenagers. I've got 2 young boys, teenagers, both very active. But does this work for young people as well in terms of what's the age range?
So for young people specifically, the education is important. Education is so important to value the lifestyle, the healthy living, and learn at an early age the why, the relevant why. And it's not about slapping the hand away, the 14-year-old saying, no, you can't ever have dessert. That's not what it's about. It's about appreciating quality foods and appreciating the active lifestyle. Multiple times every summer, I'll have parents come to me and say, my son and my daughter, I'm worried about their health. We need them to lose a few pounds. Could you put them on a program to lose 30 pounds this summer? And my answer to them is, yes, I can, but here's what I'd rather do. I'd rather put them on a program to just lose 5 or 10 this summer and have them actually come back next summer again and keep those pounds off and keep going, versus an experience where now they resent healthy eating, they resent exercise. So there is a balance there. And now you're kind of hitting on a little bit of a hot topic, and I do a little bit of education. I don't have all the answers, but I do love to share, some strategies that I do think help our youth, and they desperately need help this day and age.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's stunning to see the health. I mean,
Yeah. We'll do that on the follow-up podcast, right? Well, that'll be the whole.
I mean, I think that's a great topic, and I think that it is a hot topic, and it is worrisome, and it is just as it is for adult health and the addiction to devices and sort of being sedentary. It's a huge problem. I mean, it's a public health problem, I think, for young people.
Right.
I think it's going to be.
Oh, it already is, Rhett. Especially, and there are across the country, but there are sections of our country where it's particularly alarming, where obesity rates are topping 50%, and even the youth obesity rates are at about a third, and that just shouldn't be. It boils down to education and effort, and I think there is a bit of a community responsibility that we all need to participate in, making this a part of our lifestyle, not just math, reading, arithmetic. And it needs to be, how do we transition from most impressionable time of our life into ongoing habits to take care of ourselves? And oh, by the way, there is a strategy, science, art, technique to it. It's not just something we're born knowing. So, yeah, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, I think it's an important topic, and maybe it's worthy of its own sort of a program and dialogue, because I think we as parents and we as adults, we're it's going to fall on our shoulders to help make that happen and make those conversations happen. Hey, Angelo, thank you so much, man.
You've let me come on, talk about MetPro. This is my favorite topic, transformations. Rhett, you have been awesome. Thank you. It's been an honor being on your show.
Well, hey, the same here. And thank you for spending some time with us today. Appreciate your time, whether it's lunchtime or breakfast time or whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Go out, do good work, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.